Go ahead and call this meeting to order. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Patrick. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Thank you. All those in favor of approving the agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Are there any abstentions? The agenda is approved. Item C, consider the approval of the 2020-2021 district budget as presented.
Well, first off, thank you all for coming in this evening for this special meeting. The amended budget is one of the items that we do have each year at the end of the fiscal year. So June 30th, it's when we kind of have a good feel for how the year is going to end. This year was unique due to COVID, and this year there's a necessity to increase two of the four funds that I'm requesting budget adjustments to. The first one is general fund, and when you look at the general fund, I'm requesting that we increase that by $750,000. The reason being is the additional buses that I'm asking later on that be approved, and I'll explain those, as well as additional revenue that we received in the form of special ed reimbursement. So I'm asking on the adjustments that we increase the instruction 150,000, instructional support 100,000, and the general support 500,000. These items are going to leave our carryover at 13%. That's $4,708,000. If you remember, we can only carry over up to 15%. So I did ask that as we walk through these exercises that we give ourselves a little cushion so we're not bumping up against that 15%. This revenue fund is another one that we have a significant increase to budget. And this is a result of CARES dollars. When we were working through the budget last July, we didn't know anything about ESSER or CARES or any money that we would be receiving. So we have the $1.4 million that I'm asking that the instruction category be increased 420,000, instructional support 125,000, general support 800,000, and then the architecture and engineering services 55,000. The last one that I'm asking that it be increased due to increased revenue is food service. And here again, we had the wonderful gift, if you will, where all food served for lunch was deemed as free or no cost to any of our students. That drastically increased participation, that increased the revenue that we received through the National School Lunch Program, which in turn increased our expenses. We're looking very favorable at the food service fund. This is the first year that we're extremely close to breaking even. Because of that, I'm asking to increase the food service operations by $375,000. The last one for there to be an increase in the cash reserves are taking care of this increase. That's to the rec fund, the rec board. The difficulty with the rec board are that the rec awards cross over 2 different fiscal years. in that the rec board meets in March and awards for the next 12-month time period, which the award is based upon the present mill levy, but typically the mill levy increases the next year, and we could actually have a fiscal year where we have 2 years worth of awards, depending upon when the awardees present their reimbursement requests. So I'm requesting there that the community support be increased by $100,000. That I'd be happy to answer any questions or help any of you better understand the request.
So you kind of touched on the one question I had about the rec fund traveling through fiscal years. So it's not a matter of when that meets and says or approves those awards, it's when they actually submit the reimbursement request, essentially.
You're exactly right. Yep. They're awarded in March and they have up until the February board meeting. So you could have somebody awarded in this fiscal year, but due to timing or whatever on their part, they don't present the request until next fiscal year.
Any other questions for Ms. Cates? Okay, thank you, Ms. Cates, for walking us through that. So all those in favor, did we get a motion on that? Did I skip that step? Someone needs to call me out on that stuff. All right. Can I have a motion to approve the amended fiscal year 2020 to 2021 district budget as presented?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Bullington. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Schmick. Any other discussion? All those in favor of approval of the amended 2020-2021 district budget, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Are there any abstentions? The motion passes. Item D, consider approval of the final bills for the 2020-2021 fiscal year end as presented. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Schmick. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Salcedo. Any discussion? So did we get everything in to get us under our, I mean, I'm assuming since you said we're going to be at 13% that we got everything paid down like we were planning?
The amended budget that you see, that incorporates that bonus that staff received, which I thank you for approving that. We probably would not have been under the 15% without that. And then the additional funds that were approved for purchases, those were all received vendors. Well, they were told that product had to be received by June 15th or we would make the purchase. So yes, we have a very clean year end that it just feels different than last year. Last year, we didn't have staff in the buildings at the end of the year. We were, trying to get information that it feels like, well, it was a very good June 30.
And I'm glad you mentioned the bonus, and I do want to also say that that was kind of twofold. One, it helped us with our carryover situation, but I think in the situation that we faced this year, that it was well earned by our staff for dealing with the hardships that we had this year. So, yeah, so I don't want that to get lost in talking about numbers too, but that was like, to me, that was the main reason, was to reward our staff for that. And yes, it helped us out with our budget, but is there any other questions, comments on the final bills? All those in favor of approval of the final bills for the 2020-2021 fiscal year, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Item E, consider approval of offering a contract for district curriculum director to Jeffrey Fuller for the 2021-2022 school year. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Bullington. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Patrick. Any discussion?
I can just chime in here, Chairman Jesperson, if that's all right. We're really excited to have Mr. Fuller. He's coming to us from Basin, and we're really excited because in the process of the interview, he really exuded a lot of confidence and a lot of the skills that we're hoping to really utilize and his expertise, and feel that he's going to be a great match for Goshen County and fit right in and hit the ground running and help us with our implementation of many of our programs that we want to see, and has some really unique ideas that we're excited for him to share with us, and excited for the relationships that he's going to develop across the district.
Thank you, Mr. Kramer. Is there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of approval of offering a contract to Jeffrey Fuller as the district curriculum director for the 2021-2022 school year, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Are there any abstentions? Motion passes. Item F, consider approval of offering teaching contracts for the 2021-2022 school year to Tessa Walker as an English teacher at Torrington Middle School, Amber, I'm going to say this wrong, I know it, Amber Imel as district virtual education elementary teacher, Olivia Neal as an elementary teacher at Lincoln Elementary, and Lee Grotz as an art teacher at Lincoln Elementary. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Sussex. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Salcedo. Any discussion? So, Mr. Kramer, or anybody who wants to chime in on this, I'm glad that we are getting some vacancies filled. How are we doing as far as vacancies? Ms. Sims.
So I just wanted to correct on that, that it's, the art teacher is for Lincoln Trail Sherry.
Okay. Is everybody good with the changing that in the motion?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
it definitely is because of the numbers that we've had, and with our interventionist positions, we still have a number left to fill. And unfortunately, due to a couple of circumstances within the district with the passing of a couple of our employees, the difficulty also arises with filling those positions, and we're much saddened and challenged with those situations. But we are continuing with the process, and feel that the candidates and the principals that have been making the interviews have been doing a nice job, and really been matching up with some of the things that we're looking for and some of the goals that we foresee down the line. And it'll still be a process in filling those positions. We're right in the middle also. We did do a kind of a change to our non-certified staff hiring, where we're advertising at a much earlier date to hopefully allow for some things where in the past it's made it a really tight timeline on background checks and other things to have people ready to go on that first day of school. So we're working ahead of those situations, but it's been very busy, and Lorene has been very busy posting and advertising and trying to come up with new and innovative ways to get us as many applicants as possible. And I know I appreciate greatly all the work that she's done in background checks, and also working with licensure to make sure all of those things match, because it is quite a process.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions or discussion on for any of our new teachers in this list that I butchered their names? I do apologize if you're watching at home. Okay, all those in favor of approving of offering these teaching contracts for the 2021-2022 school year, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Item G, consider a request to rescind a teacher resignation received from Lindy Ellis to rescind her resignation as the Torrington High School teacher at the end of the 2020-2021 school year. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Bullington. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Schmick. Any discussion?
Chairman Jesperson, if I may just let you know some of the information around this one. Mrs. Ellis has agreed to transfer into the position at Lingo Fort Laramie because of the challenge with that position. And so we greatly appreciate as her help is really nice to have. And she knows that in a difficult position that Lingo found itself in and her availability to be able to help us out in this situation, we're very excited to have her. I know it doesn't say that in the motion because she's rescinding her Torrington High School resignation, but that is her plan for the upcoming school year. And we greatly appreciate her help with a difficult position to fill.
In the board packet, I believe there's a letter from Mr. Gilchrist at Lingo Fort Laramie, also making that statement that they appreciate her availability to help fill that role. So thank you for that. Are there any other questions or discussions on this item? Seeing none, all those in favor of rescinding the teacher resignation from Lindy Ellis, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes. Oh, that's this next one. Okay, item H, consider approval offering a teaching contract to Lindy Ellis for the 2021-2022 school year as a science teacher at Lingo Fort Laramie Middle School, High School. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Patrick. Or a second.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Bullington. Is there any further discussion? I kind of hinted at this. Apologize for jumping ahead.
Yeah, I'm really appreciative of her willingness to delay her retirement as well. She was looking forward to it, but I also understand she's looking forward to doing this. So.
Seeing no other discussion, all those in favor of approval of offering a teaching contract for the 2021-2022 school year to Lindy Ellis as a science teacher at Lingo Fort Laramie, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Item I, consider approval of contracting with Northeast Wyoming BOCES for student services. For psychological services for students number 9739, not to exceed $1,750 from June 10th through June 30th, 2021. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Schmick. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Patrick. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approval of contracting with Northeast Wyoming BOCES for student services, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Item J, consider approval of license renewal with Lexia Learning Systems for the 2021-2022 school year for the total amount of $9,900 funded through Title 1A. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Saucedo. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Cushman. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approval of the license renewal with Lexia Learning Systems for the 2021-22 school year, the total amount of $9,900, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Are there any abstentions? The motion passes. Item K, consider the approval of student handbooks for the 2021-2022 school year as presented for Lincoln Elementary, Trail Elementary, Torrington Middle School, Southeast Schools, LaGrange Elementary, and Lingle Fort Laramie Schools. Can I have a motion, please?
So move.
Thank you, Mr. Sussex. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Schmick. Any discussion? I just wanted to thank the administrators of the schools for getting those out timely so we have a chance to review them and really read through them. It's not just something that we rubber stamp, that's for sure. So, and I thank you, Ms. Patrick, for the email the other day about wanting to make sure we see Torrington High Schools before the meeting.
Thank you.
I appreciate your diligence so we can make sure that we're reviewing those things timely. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approval of the student handbooks for the 2021-2022 school year for Lincoln, Trail, Torrington Middle School, Southeast Schools, LaGrange, and Lingle Fort Laramie Schools, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Are there any abstentions? Motion passes. Item L, consider approval of renewing the annual maintenance support agreement with Long Mechanical Solutions for the 2021-2022, is that a fiscal year?
Yes.
Fiscal year. For district building automation and HVAC systems control for the total amount of $25,925. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Patrick. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Schmick. Any discussion? That's through the general fund. No, I always ask it if I don't see it.
So on here, it says billed semi-annually at $12,462. So how is that going to work? Are we doing the whole amount or are we doing it semi-annually?
Well, the semi-annual amount is half of this. So you're authorizing Longs for us to contract with Longs for building automation and HVAC maintenance. But then they bill semi-annually for that.
Any other questions? All those in favor of approval of renewing the annual maintenance support agreement with Long Mechanical Solutions for the 2021-2022 fiscal year, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes. Item M, consider approval of the purchase of 2 activity buses. These are 2 78-passenger activity buses for the district bus fleet from Elder Equipment Leasing in the total amount of $301,000. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Schmick. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Bullington. Any discussion? Ms. Cates.
I give Mrs. Bott an opportunity to speak to it and then I'll elaborate.
Okay. I just want to say that this grant money that the DEQ has is allowing 24 buses to be bought by various school districts in the state. And unfortunately, we had 2 activity buses that met the criteria, which is a great opportunity for us because that 2006 bus, we wouldn't have been able to replace until for 2 more years through the Chapter 20 replacement plan. So it's just a great opportunity for us to be able to purchase these. And the DEQ will take care of 25% and the state will pick up the 75%.
Thank you.
So with that, what happens is we receive the 25% upon receipt of the bus in order to make payment. That's coming from DEQ. And then the other 75% comes through the state reimbursement process, which we get that over 5 years. This one is unique, and typically on June 30, I would be asking for you to approve a bus purchase. And this is part of that 13% reduction to carryover. What has happened is these awards were made, but they were made right close to the state bus bid. And the state bus bid was issued this week for FY 2022. And with that, there's an anticipation that bus prices were going to go up. So I'm asking that you approve it tonight. We'll make payment when the bus is received, but we're getting locked in with Elder based upon 2021 prices versus 2022 prices.
And the 25% from DEQ, that was a grant, or what was the 25%, what?
The 25% is DARE money, and that's a Diesel Emissions Reduction Act. That what they're doing is they're trying to get buses out of the network that have an issue with their emissions. So what happens, and Donna's done this with 2 other buses, or just one, the DARE buses. Have we done 2 or 1?
We've got one other one. We bought a smaller activity bus a couple years ago from the Jura.
Do you want to walk through with them the process as to what Bellers will have to come and do? And
So we take the 2 buses that are being replaced, 2 butlers, and we have to they have to totally make them so they cannot be used anymore. So they'll put 3 holes in the engine block, and then they'll cut the frames in different places so that there's no way that bus can ever be driven again. And we have to take pictures so we can verify that that was all done, and then we send that to the DEQ. And once we've done all the paperwork, then she'll get our reimbursement.
so ultimately, there's no value as far as the DEQ is concerned with these 2 buses that we would be taking out of the fleet. But I want to commend Mrs. Bott in that she did apply for federal DARE money, and we weren't awarded. And then she kept going, and the state money came about, and we were awarded 1. And then Donna was actually on vacation and got an email that said, you know, we have some extra money based upon prices. We're going to do a lottery. Is your district interested in the second bus? And Donna emailed back and said, of course. And we ended up getting 2 instead of 1. So she's worked a lot of this during her vacation time.
I hate answering emails on my vacation time too. Makes it feel any better. Any other discussion, questions? All right, thank you for all that information. All those in favor of approval of purchase of 2 activity buses from Elder Equipment Leasing in a total amount of $301,000, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Are there any abstentions? Motion passes. Before we adjourn, and I meant to do this beforehand, and then I got ahead of myself. I did want to send condolences to the family of Larry Wattsberger. We are saddened by his loss, sudden loss, and just know that our thoughts and prayers are with the family. And with that, I will declare us adjourned. I'm not-